Welcome to Early Care Connection. I'm Izzy Greenberg. Today we are joined by Ava Bermudez Zimmerman from Child Care for Connecticut's Future. Merrill Gay is out for at least this week and maybe next. We'll see how that goes, but he'll be back. That's Merrill Gay from the Connecticut Early Childhood Alliance. Today we've got a kind of low-key call. We're going to talk a little bit about stuff, how you get rid of it, how you can take it in for your centers. We have a few guests that we're expecting, but are a little bit late. And so we're going to kind of get into some other stuff before we start that. And then we also have Linda Facto here to talk about some trainings that the Women's Business Development Council is hosting. So if Linda's available, I'm going to have her get started, but just give me 1 second to ask her if that's possible. Linda, is it possible for you to go first, actually, because we're still waiting for our other guests to join? Is that okay with you? We'll see. She wasn't expecting that, so let's wait for her to get back. Okay, so first of all, let's see. One, I wanted to apologize to everyone because I did not remind you all that we were going to be taking Memorial Day off. Of course, you all know the drill. You know we take holidays off here, certainly in honoring of your time, but also in honoring of the holiday that people want to mark. And so I know you all figured it out, but I hope you had a restful and meaningful Memorial Day. I know in Middletown, we've had a lot of celebration here and marking. There was a parade. We also had Pride this past weekend. There's been a lot going on. So anyway, I hope everybody has had a nice time since we've been together. Let's see. Reminders, as always, to use the chat for questions, comments, between the community and for any technical problems you may have, and to use the Q&A for questions for our guests. So we are actually going to get started with Linda Facto from the Women's Business Development Council. Linda, do you have a little more light that you could shed on yourself? Is that possible?
Yeah.
Great. It's a witness protection kind of situation.
Is that better?
You see your outline. That is much better. Thank you. All right,
Okay.
we'll get started. Welcome. Thank you for being here. And I'll just turn it over to you for now.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Hope everybody had a lovely weekend. We had some great weather. So I just wanted to give you guys a real brief introduction to some of our classes. Is that okay if I share my screen?
Absolutely.
All right. Okay. Are you guys seeing our class listing?
We see it.
Awesome. So in a couple of weeks, we do plan to come back and give you a more thorough overview of all the stuff that the Women's Business Development Council can do for you. But today we just wanted to highlight a few of our classes that are coming up. Many of our classes are for general business owners where anyone, family home providers or center-based group home providers, you guys are all businesses, and it's really important that you think of yourself that way. So when you look through our list of classes, there are things there that are very specific to childcare, but then there's other things like, for example, this women-owned small business certification. This is for general women-owned businesses. It's a great class for you to take just to see what you need to do. There are some funding opportunities available to women-owned businesses, so it's a great idea to get this certification. Let's see if are you seeing me scroll down?
Yes, we are.
All right, perfect. So we have some networking events. This week on Wednesday, we are going to have a coffee and conversation in the London office. If anyone's in the area, we would love to have you come. We have quite a few businesses come, and you can network and get to know everybody. It's a nice way to see everybody. Then things like, simplifying your sales. We do have quite a few classes in Spanish. This one is on your credit score. And again, as many of you know, your personal credit score significantly can impact your business and your ability to get funding So we recommend this one as well. Unleashing Your Power of Financial Statements is a great class because, again, you're all businesses, regardless of whether you're a center or a family home provider, and you really should understand how to look at your numbers and understand where your income is coming from, what your expenses are, what do you have left over at the end of the week, the month, the year. So then that way you can make really good business decisions. And also, I know that I've talked to a few providers who are looking to maybe expand and need to perhaps look at lending. We are having a childcare only business financing class on the 6th, which is Thursday. So if anybody is looking at possible financing, we highly recommend this one. And then, of course, marketing is always important for all of us. So you can look at that. We also do have childcare specific marketing classes coming up. They're not listed yet, but we get those back on the calendar. And this one I think is really great. Tanya does this class. I think some of you have worked with our business advisor, Tanya Kelly. And she just kind of helps you look at, you're halfway through the year. Let's think about what that's going to mean for you for your financial tune-up. So like, where are you? Maybe you need to make some tweaks so you can have a profit by the end of the year, etc. And then on the art of business pitching, all of you, I know many of you are already full with waiting lists, but at any point in time, when somebody says, what do? You should have a very quick pitch that you can say, I own a childcare business. And what does that look like? We specialize in this, we specialize in that, where you're located, those kinds of things. So that might be something else that you want to do. And then lastly, I'll go in for this one is QuickBooks Online. If you are not using an accounting software, we highly recommend that. QuickBooks Online is pretty user-friendly. However, we do have classes on it. We've got great business advisors that can help you with it. We do office hours. So again, these are all things that are coming up in the month of June that we thought you'd be interested in. And if you have any questions on this at all, I'll put my email in the chat. You can give me a call and let me know, or send me an email. Let me know whether or not you have questions on any of these classes. And we also are always looking for feedback on our classes. Is there something that you really wanted us to teach that you're not seeing on our calendar? We would love to hear from you. So that's all I have for today.
Thank you so much, Linda. We have Carla here is suggesting that a lot of these classes are early, and people with home daycare, it's harder for them to do them at those times. So maybe just a suggestion to think about what times work best for folks with home daycare.
Do appreciate
You're always doing that.
Yeah, we try to do some in the morning, some in nap time, and then some in the evening, because different people have different needs. So
yeah, and so these are all on Zoom, right?
These are all on Zoom, except for our coffee and conversation is in the morning in New London, because that's an in-person networking event.
And so here's a question. So for folks who might not be able to join at a particular time, are these recorded? Could it be that you sign up, and if you can't make that time, you get the recording emailed or something, so you can still get the training even if you're not available in that moment?
Yes, thank you for reminding me about that. We have what we call an e-library. So not all of our classes are recorded, but most of them are. And then they get put into our e-library, and it's a great way for a provider to review the class at their own convenience. Obviously, you can't ask questions because there's not a live presenter, but it's a great way to look at the slides, hear what other people have asked, and hear the presentation. And then, of course, if you have questions after that, you can always make an appointment with a business advisor.
Can you show us how to get to that e-library?
I will try. I want to point out, too, that we have a fabulous brand new website that we are very proud of. is my screen switching with,
Yes, yep.
okay, great. All right, so let's see. Here, I am still learning my way around this new website too, but I would like for all of you to take a few minutes to navigate around and see what interests you. I do not see that. And again, this is a brand new website, like Friday it came out.
Yes,
So
I got the email about it.
yeah, so I'm gonna have to see where our e-library is sitting now. And I
Can
will
I,
send that link though.
I have a link that I found by Googling it. So I'm going to try to see if that works. And
Oh, okay, great.
says,
Well, then I will stop share.
it says that it's on that class list where you are, but actually you're right. I'm not seeing it there either. So
Yeah, okay. I will, you know what? We're still working on a few bugs, so I will bring that to the team's attention.
yeah.
Sure
So I
it
would
gets out
say
there.
what it says in when you Google it is that that it's in that classes list. So I'm going to put that there so that everyone can kind of fish around there. And my guess is it will be linked on that page once they figure it out. So, I mean, that seems like a fair place to look. And when I Google it, it says it's there. And so it's possible that if you look at, class listings or one of those things, you will find that library. So good to have that either way.
No, yeah, I will see what tweaks we can make to make it a little easier to find.
Great. All right, Linda, that's great. And I think that's it for questions. And all right, so we're all set with that. Just give me 1 second. Thank you again. Thank you again for always, for everything you do and for always, I know you're on these calls very often and so appreciative of all the support.
Right, I just put my email in the chat too. So definitely would love to hear from people.
Fantastic. Okay.
All right,
Thanks so much, Linda. Okay, Ava, you are back. I can see that Sandra is now speaking and that you're back with us in non-interpreter mode. Oh, Melinda says on the right side here, it lists the e-library. So thank you so much, Melinda, for sharing that link with everyone. Okay, so Ava's back on the non-interpreting side. Let's just do, it doesn't look like our guests from on our sort of spring cleaning segment were able to make it this morning. And so we're just going to talk about it for 5 minutes and then we'll wrap up. I want to make sure that we also give you all the schedule for the next few weeks before people bounce off of here. So let me just do that really quick because I think that's important. Okay, so today we've got, well, you know what we're doing today. Tomorrow, or excuse me, next week, we are going to spend quite a bit of time talking about K transition. So talking about some of the aspects of the rule change for kindergarten for this upcoming year. You all have, we've been talking about it a lot. We've talked about some efforts to change that in the legislative session. Those did not come through, but there are communities doing some really interesting things. And so we're going to have, I know Middletown is joining, that is where I'm from. And we're still tentative on some other guests, but I know that I believe folks from the Connecticut Project will also be here. They've been really following this closely. And so we may have some people on to talk about the special ed aspect. So it's all still coming together, but that is what's on tap for next week. That's the 10th. The following week, we're going to have LISC Connecticut coming on to talk about the early learning facilities assessment. They're calling their presentation "Creating a Roadmap for Action." And then on the 24th, we've got a legislative look back, not to this year, but to last year's legislative session. There was some significant changes that happened in last year's legislative session, and we updated you all as that session was happening, but we never kind of followed up to say, well, how did it work out? And what's been the impact of those changes that occurred in 2023? And so I think it's a healthy thing for us to be saying, the legislative session happened. What we've been doing is legislative session happened, move on. No, these things get implemented. They actually affect your real life and your centers. And so we want to make sure that we're giving adequate time also to how did these changes impact us? And are there more things that we need to ask for? Or are we happy with this? Was that implementation healthy? Because that helps us also in years that come to push them to make some changes in implementation, maybe in communication. But it's also good for you all to know, okay, this thing I worked on, whatever happened with it. So that's going to be the legislative look back. And then I believe on July 1st is tentative right now because we're still trying to get the exact date, but we're hoping that WBDC can come back on July 1st. Not a full announcement, but if it's not that week, it will be in the coming weeks to talk about some of their programs more in depth. So we will post that calendar. Actually, you all can go to Early Care Connection, the website. Let me grab that for you. It's earlycareconnection.org. Let me share my screen actually. I'll put it into the chat right now for everyone. Okay, and when I go there, hold on, I'm going to share my screen, which I don't do very often. So give me 1 second. There we go. And then here we go. Here we go. All right. So here is the Early Care Connection website. It's a very simple website, just meant to help you navigate the major things that we do. So a little bit here about what we are, who we are. And then if you ever want to share this, you can register here. You just click that button. And if you lose your link for some reason, you can always go there. I don't know if you all have noticed, but we tried to also reduce the number of reminder emails you all were getting. I think there was one that said, thank you for coming, or you missed it. And then another one that's your thing is in a week. And then another, your thing is in an hour. That's too much. You all know the drill by now. Can you please keep us informed though, if you're still getting too many or if you're not getting enough? It's helpful for us to know how to modify those reminders so that they work for everyone. So here we go. If you go down, you'll come up to upcoming events, and this will give you always the calendar. So if you don't see like here, look, July 8th, there's no topic. It's not formed yet. This one is just tentative, so it's not a full announcement. It's a kind of placeholder we're hoping for. So if you see tentative, don't count on it, but you can see at least what we're working on. 24th is that legislative look back, spring cleaning today, kindergarten transition, LISC facilities assessment there on the 17th, and then past recordings. So you can come here, click here for the YouTube channel. If you're going for something much older, beyond a year, we kept those in a different place. And so you can click there for those past recordings. But the most recent things are here also in this feed. I can see now that I'm looking at it that we have it set up not in the wrong order, because it's showing you least newest at the back. But if you click through, I'll fix that. But here you go. Here's May 20th. And then here's May 13th, we had Johanna Hayes. So you click on it.
Welcome.
Whoops. There's me again. But this is how it works. It shows you, and you can click on any of these. You can really see how my hair's grown over time. But you can click on all of these and get to any of the past ones. Our team, very easy. And here's for a place where you can email us, suggest a topic. Our email is info@earlycareconnection.org. So you can always do that as well. So that's just a quick little overview of that. Let me now go to Ava for some of the, oh, hold on, your question. Yes, you can also add the events to your calendar. That's right. It's set up in a Google Calendar. So if you want to subscribe to that calendar, it will automatically put them in your calendar feed as long as you can manage that Google process. While Ava's speaking, I can get the link to invite folks to join that calendar as well. So if it's something that you want to put in your personal calendar, it'll show you the topics right there. That's all set up. Okay, Ava, I'm turning it over to you. I've also got, Ava, all the links for all of the things you're going to speak about this morning. So you are
awesome.
up.
Well, good morning, everyone. We wanted to do a spring cleaning. Spring is almost over. We're transitioning to June. And I know many of you are preparing for some vacations, well-deserved vacations, but you're also preparing for your new flow of children that might be coming in now that parents are transitioning certain children from being in your space to then going to school full time, right? So this is always an opportunity I've heard from providers to really take an inventory of all of the supplies that you have, the tables, the chairs, and figure out what you need and what you don't need, and figure out where to purchase those items. Oftentimes, because busy, myself, Meryl, we interact with so many providers, we're asked, well, do you know anyone who has a free table or some chairs? We've heard that, but we've never really talked about it on these calls. And recently there was an organization that does actually donate materials to nonprofits and child providers who reached out to us and said they are more than happy to connect providers with some tables, some toys, and much needed equipment for free. So we wanted to give you an overview. We're not going to dig deep here, but an overview of some of the different nonprofits that do exist out there that have either low or free supplies available to all of you. It could be that you are already familiar with these locations. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here. So, screen share. Okay. So many of you are very used to Facebook as your means to connect with other providers, to see if other providers are selling materials or supplies, tables, toys, etc. Hopefully, most of you are already part of the statewide groups or your regional groups where you can have these conversations about what's happening in childcare. It's very clear that the groups are either regional or they're divided depending on childcare centers or family childcare. So if you do a quick search on a social media platform like Facebook and you do the search that's specific to childcare centers, you'll see exactly what I see on my screen, that there is Central Connecticut group, there is a childcare association. If you go ahead and if you're a family childcare provider and go ahead and add the word family to that search, same idea. There's all over the state of Connecticut a group of participants, and then you can request access and let them know that you're a provider so that way you can communicate with each other. I wanted to start with Facebook because, again, some of you already use the platform to communicate, but there's also the marketplace on Facebook that I've seen it to be very handy, specific to guiding some of the providers to different items that might be helpful. So if a provider asks me, hey, do you know of another provider who's selling X thing? The first thing I do is I actually look at the Facebook marketplace as a place to navigate what is being sold, and then do a search of, toys, right? So we can see some toys that are priced pretty economic, and it could be accessible in a space near you, in a region near you. So rather than you driving an hour to pick up that toy, you can drive 10 minutes and pick it up from a neighbor that you didn't know that they were selling it. So that's a good example. But moving into the nonprofits, right? So let's go to
wait. Can you
Oh,
go back? Somebody
of
is
course.
asking, can you show them how to actually join one of these groups?
Oh, of course. Yeah. Let's go back. Okay. So let's say I am a home-based provider and I want to go ahead and join. You just click and that's it. I'm sorry that it's not as exciting as what you thought it might be. And it's literally a click of a button. It can't be simpler. Sometimes what I've seen, I've joined for family childcare. I remember, my goodness, 10 years ago, I wanted to join just to be, informed on what's happening on the day-to-day with those conversations as an organizer. And after I clicked the word join, Then the organizer, the person who owns this page, had very short, quick questions for me to answer before they approved my membership. And the main question to be part of this page was, are you a child provider? So I was not accepted to the group because, you know, we're being honest here. I was being honest. And I said, no, I'm not I'm not a licensed child care provider. So I was not accepted. But for you, you know, whoever's listening, if you do want to join these groups, and then after you click the word join, there's a question of just confirming who you are. I'm assuming that you'd have no problem joining because you are all childcare providers. I've also seen in these closed groups the question of respect. So it's like it's almost like it's almost like you're honoring each other in the space. So they have a couple questions that guide you to make sure that you're going to be respectful in the space. It says, are you promising to make sure to not use foul language and be mindful that this is a community, you know, space, and that you're sharing it with others? So as long as you're pressing okay or yes to those questions, that you're not going to curse on the space, that you're not going to say things that are disrespectful or hurtful, or might be misconstrued as hurtful, then they also then go ahead and accept your request to join the group. So those are some questions that you might see after you click join, but it is as easy as doing a search on your social media page, and then clicking the word join. Hopefully this person just denies me because they'll know I'm not a provider. But if they do, and I see any information that's helpful to all of you, then I will make sure to pass it along, and I'll make sure to not, be very mindful that this is for providers, run by providers. And let me see, for child care centers.
Before you go, there's also someone asking, rather, after you leave this and go back to Marketplace, someone's asking for you to demonstrate how to find toys and supplies in your area on Marketplace, so things that are really far away aren't showing up. So if you can show how to do the distance.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and try to join Connecticut Child Care Association with the same idea in mind, to see if they're gonna give me other questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit join. Nope, no more other questions. But I would probably bet $1 that once the person who owns these pages is going to confirm, they'll probably ask me like 2 or 3 questions, because I've seen that in the past when I've joined these groups, or I've tried to join these groups. So that's again, you're on your main page. You're gonna see my main page of Facebook. Let me go to my main page. Please excuse my friends and their sexy photos, because my cousin, I can't control what other people post. But this is my personal page, my main page. And then I just went here on the right hand of the screen on the search bar of Facebook. And that's where I added the word CT childcare. And then I hit enter. And that's where I started looking for which groups I wanted to join. And I clicked specific to Connecticut Child Care Association. I clicked join, and now it's pending because someone has to approve it. Okay, so that's how you join the associations or the conversations that are closed. Let's go back to Marketplace, all the way down here on the bottom of the toolbar. If you're on a cell phone, an iPad, or a laptop, this layout might look just slightly different, but for the most part, you should all, if you're used to Facebook or a social media platform, you should all know how to navigate the toolbar, right? For social media, specific to Facebook, I'm on my iPad today, so I see my toolbar down below, and I see the little house that signifies the Marketplace. So let's go back there. So once you get on the Marketplace on Facebook, you see everything that the algorithm is trying to advertise to me, right? So the reason you see these cute little black and white shoes, or the reason you see this green chair, most likely has to do with Facebook just noticing what I've bought in the market before, or noticing what I've searched in Facebook before. And it's trying to figure out, well, are these things that Ava really likes and might buy that are near her? They also take in consideration items that are near me. So the more that you use Marketplace, just like when you're using normal Facebook, the more it gets accustomed to your wants, likes, desires, and tries to promote things that you would want to buy, even though it's other people, normal people like you and I selling them. So we're going to first and foremost answer that question of how do you get it near you? How do you find an item that's down the street from me and I don't have to drive 2 hours to buy it? So on Marketplace, there is a little teardrop of a map. You know, the little teardrop is what you see like when you're in Google Maps or on Waze. And you're going to click on that teardrop. For me, it's on the very top here, the right corner. It says Danbury. So I live in the Danbury area. If you, let's say, lived, I'm going to make this map, change the setting of the map here. Locate me. I'm trying to make the map smaller. Give me a sec here. Bridgewater now. Okay, so I double clicked on the map. If you're on your cell phone and it's a smartphone, you can double click on it with your hand, your finger. If you're on a laptop, you just take your mouse, you navigate, you click on the map setting once, it opens up. And then with your mouse, you navigate your area where you want to drop that big blue dot, the dark blue dot, depending on where you live, is where the map will go. And that's the area that you will see items being sold. Because I don't mind driving, even though my map is always set to Danbury, I always put a radius of 100 miles. And that allows me to see items that are in New York City, items that are in New Jersey, because I don't mind, you know, I'm in the New York border. So driving to New York City is about 50 minutes, like 45 minutes to Harlem. And honestly, New York City, because people have apartments, they move out of their apartments because, you know, rent is crazy. They get rid of so many things for cheap because they don't want to bring it down the stairs. So I love shopping for items and furniture in New York City because I am more than happy to pay 50% less for that item and bring it down the stairs for them. But that's just me. So if you do not want to drive to New York City, no problem. Let's reduce that radius. You know, mine was 100. So let's bring it down to, let's say, 20 miles, right? So if we're in 20 miles, for example, if I'm going to select that big blue dot to move it to Waterbury, let's even get closer to Waterbury, right? So if I want to get to the Waterbury area, just like I did, I just clicked on the map, double clicked on it with my mouse, and I put it to 20 miles, then that means nowhere, you know, it will never send me to find an item out of the Waterbury area, Woodbury, Watertown. It'll only go 20 miles in any direction from the Waterbury area. So you're looking at Naugatuck Valley, you're looking at maybe 20 miles, maybe Southington, right? Southington. So you can play around with the miles and the radius. If you even want to go even smaller, let's say you just want to do the city of Waterbury, then put 10 miles, right? Just put your city. And again, this big dot, it's a big map. Right now I'm moving it with my mouse. I can go anywhere at all in the map of Connecticut to figure out where I want to look for items. So I can go small, I can go big. So let's experiment with Waterbury, stay on Waterbury, and keep it at 10 miles to see what's around and what people are selling within this area. So I'm going to hit apply. And then you can see again on the right corner on top of these photos where my mouse, little gray dot here is moving, that it already transitioned to Naugatuck 11 miles. That's where I dropped my dot. I didn't quite, if I went back in, I could get specific just Waterbury, but I dropped the dot in Naugatuck. That's okay, still within the area. And then I can, right now I'm set in the category of I'm buying here. If I wanted to sell something, I can click on sell, and that's a whole separate section. If you want a tutorial on that, happy to do it another day because I sold a lot of things on Facebook. But let's go to the search bar and search for toys again. So I go to the search bar. I already put my location, no problem. I'm going to hit toys. And what came up with toys, Naugatuck, it tells me what town is nearest me that's selling this item. So this is labeled that this beautiful Buzz Lightyear and xylophone is being sold in Naugatuck. Then I have this cute little push cart noisemaker being sold in Seymour. Then I have a toddler tricycle being sold in Bristol. I have storage bins being sold in Waterbury. It says here, Little Tykes Play Kitchen being sold in Waterbury, and then a toy chest being sold in Oxford. These are the prices that these items are sold for. I'm going to go ahead and click on the Little Tykes Play Kitchen, right? So I click on it. I see more photos of the item. I can enlarge a photo. I can minimize the photo. And then we see that it's in pretty good condition for being a kid's toy, right? Whoever this kid was or the parent, they took very good care of it. Looks great, right? Wouldn't you want this in your space for your kiddos that you're caring for? If you want to go ahead and message the person selling this item, you can message and then it redirects you to them. You could also negotiate other offers. I love negotiating in the marketplace. Most of the time, people really do want these items out of their house, for whatever reason. And it is time sensitive, right? This is taking up space. So because they want it out of their house, people are usually willing to do a couple bucks less if you are quick to respond to them and quick to say when you're going to pick up that item. So if you said to someone, I like your item, is it still available? And then you told them, I want 50% off. I want to pay $10 for this, but I'll pick it up in 2 weeks. They'll probably dismiss you. But if you told them, hey, I want this item so bad, and I'm willing to pay $15, I'll pick it up today. They'll think, well, you know what? I've had it for so long, I don't even know what I paid for it. I just want it gone. Sure, just pick it up today. So just think about negotiating. Think about what's fair to you, what's fair to them. Don't put out absurd prices. If you want to do a little bit of homework to see what the original value of that item was, and you want to compare, then go ahead. I can tell you right now, hanging out with so many of you providers, this kitchenette is not $20. This is like probably original price, probably $100. So $20 sounds good. You can see that the little sticker with the microwave is a little rubbed off. No biggie. You can probably replace it. Put some numbers in there. So that's just an example of how you navigate the marketplace. You can just keep doing this and play with, again, the location that you set it in, play with the item that, in your search bar that you're trying to look for. If you're looking for cabinets or let's put storage bins, right? That's something that providers definitely need all the time. Again, they give you a very long list of what's available to you and where they're available. And you'll be surprised how close you are to that location once you play with the map settings. So be mindful about the environment. I know this doesn't feel like an eco-friendly tutorial, but the reason I use Facebook Marketplace and reuse places is because I don't want to make new things. I don't want to buy new things when things are already available, already made, and people are trying to get rid of them. But let's move into Remix and Habitat Restore, other locations that have amazing supplies. If this feels overwhelming to you and you like, going to an actual brick and mortar store, an actual store to look at the things you want to buy, no worries. Social media doesn't have to be your thing. You don't have to be overwhelmed by this. Explore it if you want to. So let's go to other options. So there are a bunch of stores out there that take items that have been used and then sell them back to you. A lot of these stores have relationships with nonprofits. They are, whatever money that they have coming into them, most likely is going to a charity, most like other than paying their overhead. They're going to a charity, they're going to a good cause, or they're going to other nonprofits. So this is not like you supporting, you're not buying from like a Macy's to make Macy's richer. You're buying used items to really still help the community. Remix Market is slightly different, and I was excited to introduce you guys to it because in Remix, unlike other secondhand furniture stores, they give away some of these items for free to you. I talked to the director who manages Remix here in Connecticut, and he's like, our mission is to donate and support nonprofits. And I said, well, I work with childcare providers, and a lot of these childcare centers do have nonprofit status. They might be connected to United Way or Y or, a church that has that nonprofit category. But a lot of you on this call do not have the nonprofit, label when you file for your taxes. And that's okay, because Richard said, no problem, because you're a childcare provider, because the service that you provide is so vital in the community, I am more than happy to give supplies that providers need for free. So the one catch, if you're wondering what's the catch, right? What's the catch? Remix Market, even though it exists all through the United States, the only one that we have here in Connecticut is Stamford. And for many on this call, like me, Stamford is real far. It is like the end of the road on the other side of the state. Now, if you're someone on this call who's from Bridgeport, lucky you. Down the street, it's one town over, much easier drive to get there. But I'm gonna, after I review this website, I'm gonna pass it over to Izzy, and she's gonna talk about Habitat. And there's a bunch of Habitat restores all through the state of Connecticut. So don't feel like Stamford, that's not fair, I don't get one near me. There's always other options. So this is Remix Market, same idea as like Facebook Marketplace, same idea as like a Goodwill. It is normal people like you and me who are donating to them pieces of furniture, toys that are in pretty good condition, and rather than junking them or recycling them, they should be resold to have another life, a new life in a new home and appreciated by new people. Many of these stores, they do very well in verifying that these items work. So if you're wondering, why should I go to these stores, and use things that are old or used? It's going to break on me tomorrow. Usually it's pretty rare that they accept an item that is completely broken, and that's not how they work. If they do sell it, if they do get it and it's broken, I've seen like in a Habitat situation, they repair it before they sell it, which is pretty cool. More specific, in Remix Market, they had the little motorized cars for kids. I think that's what they call them. Like the cute little cars that kids drive, and you can have like a cute Jeep. Is that what they call a motorized car for kids?
Yeah, I think so. Sure.
Yeah. So I asked Richard, the director there, and I said, hey, does this work? Like, this is really cool for my niece, but I don't want to go through the trouble of getting a battery and figuring out how to fix it. I'm not that handy. I'm pretty handy, but electrical stuff is not my forte. And he's like, oh, no, we checked the battery, we checked the electrical. What you see here on the floor 100% works. So that motorized vehicle that would be a couple $100s for kids to use was I think it was like $50. And I'm like, oh my God, that's super cheap. So that's just a heads up that you shouldn't be so concerned about, does this work? It'll work. It's in good shape. The location in Stamford, just go here. Because I don't know the address by top of my head here. Does it tell us? Oh, do they have a New Haven? No way. I thought
It's
he
New
said it was
Haven.
only
They have one in New Haven and one in Stamford.
Oh, thank you. I didn't even know that. The things that the internet say. Okay, they have one in New Haven and Stamford. I thought it was only Stamford. Okay, so we have one in New Haven, they have one in Stamford. The phone number is here. I'm just looking for the address so I can share with you all. Oh, here we go. Oh, okay. So address 104 North Main, Beacon Falls, Connecticut. So right on the outskirts of New Haven. And those are the store hours if you want to go and look for the Stamford location. So even better, guys. I was scared that it was only Stamford, but there are 2 locations. How convenient for you all. The Stamford location there. We're going to scroll down so you can see the address, but you can see this on your own time. So you can navigate their website and check out where it's located. So that's 77 Selleck Street, Stamford, and those are their store hours right here. And there's a map of how to get here. If you want to see in live time, you know, some of the things that they have, Remix as well as Habitat has social media, and occasionally their staffers take pictures of what's happening weekly, what's coming in and out. The last time I went there a couple months ago, they had the motorized car. They had a bunch of toys that were in fantastic shape, big and small toys. They had cabinets, they have storage, they had the kitchenette that you just saw on Marketplace. They had that. So it was just great. I've talked a lot. I'm going to pass it to his team to talk about Habitat and hopefully give a little break to Sandra from translating. And that's what I got.
All right. Do you want me to switch you into translation, Ava?
Yes, please.
Okay. Let me just do that quickly. And then we don't have a whole lot more to talk about, guys. I'll just give you a little bit more information. English 2, sorry about this. I had taken her out. I shouldn't have done that. Okay, there we go. Ava is up now. Okay, so the last few little things I wanted to mention, depending on where you are in the state. So there's the Habitat for Humanity restores are all over the place. And if you go to, you didn't show their website, did you, Ava? I don't think you did. The Habitat for Humanity. Okay, let me just pull this up. I'm going to share my screen again. Okay, there we go. So if you go to habitat.org, which I put in the chat, you can scroll down to find your local habitat. So I'm in Middletown, so I'll search here, put in my zip code. The closest one for me is right here in Cromwell. And I actually go there very often. My dining room table comes from there. Lots of things that the desk light I'm using right here comes from there. But then you can scroll down and you can find other ones. So there's here one in Hartford, New Haven, New London. I know Bridgeport. I know there's one in Bloomfield. I've been to that one, which I'm surprised it's not showing me. Oh, wait, restores. Cromwell, Wallingford, Bloomfield. There's that Bloomfield one. And they always have a lot of great, you know what my local Habitat had, the Cromwell one a couple weeks ago? It had those rubber floor tiles. So sometimes you can even find brand new, I love those carpet tiles that are like 2 feet, squares, and you put them down. So sometimes you might just need to, carpet an area, or you have some of those tiles and some have gotten to be yucky. Very often I can find those tiles brand new. They had rubber tiles recently at mine. So sometimes it's not just furniture, but you can find things that might spruce up the interiors for a lot less money. So anyway, that's the Habitat for Humanity, and they use all of the money that is donated and all of the money that is raised rather through the selling of furniture and construction, they use to build homes for folks who have a hard time affording a home of their own. And it's a really wonderful program. They build houses I know they've built houses for folks in my neighborhood. The houses are gorgeous. the whole community came together to build them. So it's a really nice effort as well. And then let me take, whoops, that's the wrong one. I was looking something up for a friend. Okay, let's get to this one, Remix. No, shoot, Reconstruction Center. Okay, Reconstruction Center here. Let's see, building this one, it doesn't say where it is, but I'm pretty positive this one's in New Britain. And this one is a little scrappier. They have everything. This one is great. You know, if you're looking cabinets and windows, and so a lot more construction stuff. You can see this is all paint. So if you're sprucing up the bathroom, whatever it is, these, you know, tiles, they have so much stuff. And listen, the thing about all of this is that, you know, you will save money, but it's also really environmentally friendly. And I know if you're a person who is conscientious about wanting to reuse, remember those 3 R's, we've got reuse, reduce, recycle. We certainly are reducing the amount of things going into the landfill by reusing. And very often, what I've found at these stores is that people are donating not things that are old and yucky, but things they either bought and they didn't fit. They bought and it just was an overflow. So a contractor is doing a house and they bought one window that wasn't the right size. So they donate it. You can very often find things that are new, but were unusable at a construction site, for example. So even when you're doing some improvements to the infrastructure of your center or your home, you need a window broken, you just need one window, or you're, you know, whatever. You can very often find those kinds of things at Habitat and a Reconstruction Center, especially. I think Remix is a little bit more about furniture. So, okay, I think that's it. I hope that gave you all some really good information. I'm looking in the chat. Folks are also putting some other places that they enjoy going to. Stamford, Beacon Falls, Berlin. There's a kind of flea market. This one does cleanouts and then sells the items. So that's great. More suggestions. Ask family and friends when their children outgrow items. Also, your families will donate items when their children outgrow things or they're doing spring cleaning in their own homes. So that's a nice way for your community to share things, not maybe just with you, but with each other. Shopping at stores like Crazy Bins, they have dollar days. So anyway, we've got a lot of information here. Folks are welcome to put more in the chat if they'd like. And I guess we're close to the end here. I see that there's a lot of folks sort of saying thank yous and how they're using it. And that's really great to see. I am personally a person who tries to always get something secondhand before I buy it firsthand. And almost everything that I wear, almost everything, that all my jewelry, I mean, my glasses are new, but otherwise, you know, most of what I have and own, I get secondhand because I really believe in keeping things out of the landfill. I believe in saving money. And very often you can find really wonderful things for your space, for your home, for your body, that are secondhand. And so just a little, we've never done a show like that before. So just wanted to give you that. Okay. Ava, I don't know if you are able to jump back in, but let me change. I've got one question here for you about legislative session. We hear you now. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think that's right. I think you can switch it. Let me, I'm not positive that Sandra is interpreting right now, though. I'm not seeing her button. Wait, I don't think that Sandra is interpreting right now. So she may not be available. Let me change let me change it. Let's see. Oh, you're there. Okay, but folks aren't hearing you, so I'm just wondering why. I'm just gonna turn Ava off and get rid of you in interpretation. Okay.
Okay, I thought it was gonna work. I got all excited. Do you want me to do questions? I just had a quick comment or reminder.
Okay, now we hear her. So we do have to do it that way. We're back
Okay.
to
we're
having
back.
Sandra working on. Okay, question about Joanne Kelleher asked earlier, and this was back to our earlier conversation. She can see that SB 14 was signed by the governor on May 30th. Do we have any idea when HB 5002 will be signed? It looks like it was transmitted by Secretary of State to the governor on 5/28. Any word about that, or any?
So we have no word. No word, but the good news is typically if the governor is not going to have like this momentous bill signing event, which sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, the expiration date to sign is 60 days, so they automatically, if he doesn't sign, they go into law. Since he's not vetoing the bill, they go into law after 60 days, so soon.
Okay. All right, thanks. I think that's it for today. And Linda did say that they were confirmed for July 1st, so I'll take that out as tentative. And so sorry about that confusion on dates, Linda, and sorry to blindside you with a new date, but glad that that will work out. So just a reminder to folks, earlycareconnection.org. You can go for the calendar, you can go for any recording, and you can go to subscribe to the calendar so that it will just show up. Actually, you can also subscribe to our YouTube channel so that when the video recording is uploaded, you automatically get a notification. And that's a really nice thing to do too. I actually love that because, for certain things, oh, it just pops up for me. Great, let me look at it. I'm realizing I didn't turn captions on today, guys. So I guess that week off got me out of practice. But my apologies if you were trying to watch captions and they weren't there. I think that's it for today. We've had actually a lot of information for you. Thank you so much to Linda from the Women's Business Development Council. Sorry we didn't have any of those guests on to talk about reuse and recycle and how you can get other things, but luckily Ava and I are both committed secondhand shoppers, and we we know how to do this. Everyone have a wonderful week. I don't think there's any holidays this week to wish you well on. Oh, wait, Kathleen has her hand raised. Kathleen, are you there? Do you have something you want to say before we jump off? It may have been an accident because it often is.
No, I'm sorry. Mistake.
That's okay. Well, nice to see you. Nice to speak with you for a moment.
Okay, everyone be safe in the heat.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Kathleen. Okay, so we are going to jump off now. We'll be back next week with information on K-transition, how some communities are dealing with it, and it might help to give you all some information that you can use. We will see you back here next Monday at 9:30. I hope everyone has a wonderful week. And we'll keep this open just for 1 minute because I can see someone's asking for Linda's contact information again. Linda, if you could put that in, that would be great. All right. Thank you all for being here. Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, everyone. Have a nice week.
I don't know how to respond to that person.
I can do it because you put your email in earlier. And so
Yes.
I will grab it and put it in there for her into the chat before.
All right, because I can only respond to you. So okay.
Yep, it's interesting how that happens sometimes, huh? All right, here we go. Copy. I'll put it in for everyone.
Thank you.
Sure thing, and that is Linda, F-E-C-T-E-A-U, right?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks
All
so
right,
much,
thank
Linda.
you. All right, no problem. Have a great day.
Have a great day. I'm just keeping this open for another 30 seconds so folks can grab those emails. And if they want, you can also, I believe, download that, save the chat. If you go to the absolute bottom right, click the 3 dots. I think you can save the chat, but the chat file also gets posted with the recording. So if you do ever miss this, you can go to the recording and click in the links below the recording to see the chat file. Cheryl, you are welcome to email Ava. I will put in her email address for you here. It's ava@childcareforct.org. All right. Have a great day, everyone. Thank you.